Hey, this is director choreographer Stephanie Rosenberg, and I'm going to do a blood tutorial for Saw the musical. So what a lot of people don't realize is that I make the blood for every show that you see. And today I'm going to teach you my recipe for the blood for Saw the musical, the unauthorized parody of Saw. Do not eat the blood. We do use non-toxic ingredients in case it gets into mouths, eyes, or ears, but the goal is to not get them in those places to begin with. Oh, special friend wants to say hi.
Hello.
Hey, Billy.
What are we doing here?
We're gonna make some blood today.
Yes.
Yes, but I was trying to tell everybody not to
Gallons.
eat the blood.
Not
Gallons?
to eat it.
No, do not eat the blood.
That's true. Even though it's a tearless formula, it's still good to not ingest soap.
That is right. Because there's a lot of soap in our blood, isn't there, Billy?
Yes, there's like a shit ton. Yes.
And why do you think we put that much blood in our soap, Billy?
So it can go all over the stage.
Well, not only that, but because it gets all over people's clothes.
That's true.
And it would cost a lot if we had to replace the clothes every show.
Yes, and it's much easier for the soap to come out.
That's right. But we still use real food coloring.
Yes.
So they have to wash their clothes right away if you get this on you.
Sometimes stain removers are necessary.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes there's so much blood we don't know what to do with ourselves.
That's right. So this is going to be the recipe of how I make blood for Saw the musical, the unauthorized parody of Saw. With that being said, keep it out of your orifices. Do not eat this. Do not ingest this. Do not put this in your body anytime. This is meant to be a blood effect, meaning on the outside of your body, we like to aim for the bright white shirts because that's where it shows up the best. It is also sometimes fun that it splatters on the neck and drips down and you get these beautiful drippy lines. But try and
when
get
you're
it on your
cleaning
shirt.
real blood out of your clothes, you don't use these steps to clean out blood. It's a different set of steps. Remember that. Goodbye.
Yes, so this is how I make blood for Saw the musical, the unauthorized parody of Saw. Again, you want a nice big bowl, big bowl. You want a half a cup. You want a stainless steel tablespoon. A good place to rest your fork and your spoon, and a fork and a spoon to stir and to check texture and to scoop out. So first ingredient, Caro syrup, light corn syrup. You can get this at almost any place. You can get it at Walmart, you can get it at Target, you can get it any size. We're going to use a half a cup. Honest, this is considered baby shampoo. I get this at Target. I get it in the baby section. All right, we do citrus vanilla because we have people who are allergic to lavender in our cast. So this is what we use. We like this because it is safe for babies. Well, it's hyperallergenic. It's tear-free, right? It's physician tested. So this is pretty safe. Once again, do not eat this. But if it gets into your eyes or your mouth, you're not gonna die. Next we have good old-fashioned cornstarch. Then you need red and blue food coloring. Now my red food coloring, it's a big bottle. It's gotten pretty yucky, so I keep it in a Ziploc bag. And then just pour it right into the bowl. Another good thing to get is a knife, or if you're not afraid to use your fingers to really scrape out. See, you can kind of see it's like still all over in there. And you want to get every drop of this out. Next, I'm going to do the half a cup of Honest. Okay, here is our half a cup of Honest Refresh Baby Shampoo. And once again, you're going to want to take your knife and really dig out everything. Make sure you get it. And you could start to stir it now. You can kind of see how one's sitting on top of the other. So you're going to take your Argo cornstarch. You're going to open it. There you go. You're going to take your tablespoon. It's going to dig on in there. And then I'm going to dump it in. I'm going to take the fork and then I'm going to stir it in. There's still some chunks in it though. Do you see those chunks? That tells me I need to mix it a little bit more. Because you do not want those chunks in it. You want it homogenized, meaning it's all together as one substance. So we'll stir this a little bit more. Okay, now I have on my gloves, so I will not end up with red and blue hands. Good to do it near a sink as well, so that you can wash your hands or rinse off the gloves before you start to do stuff. Okay, so red food coloring seems like an obvious choice. Why red food coloring? Well, that's a great question. The reason why red food coloring, because blood is red. But Stephanie, you have blue here. Why would you ever have blue in blood? It's because if you just use pure red, it's gonna look fake. Your blood has blue undertones in it. When it's in your veins, as you can see in my veins right now, see how they look blue? Your blood only turns red when it oxidizes. That means when it comes in touch with the air, it turns red. Otherwise, it is blue. So if you just do a pure red, it's going to look super duper fake. So to counteract that, you use some blue. Now here's the tricky part. You don't want purple. You don't want purple. I like to go with a dark red that looks a little muddy, so that it almost looks like black when it pops, and then as it runs down, you really get those nice deep red vibes. So, how do I do this? At this point, I eyeball it. I just pour in some red. That looks good to me. If you add too much blue, you can always add more red, but you're going to need a lot more because the blue, for whatever reason, is much more opaque. I find that you can just fill a little cap like this, and that'll be more than enough blue. Okay. Now, if you want to test your color, like I can already tell by looking at this is way too much blue. This is going to look purple on stage. But the way to really test it, if you don't know how, believe it or not, is I tear off a little piece of paper towel. You can also kind of see it on the fork. See how it looks purple? So you take your paper towel. You can dip this in a corner. And see how dark that is? See how that looks purple or even brown? That tells me it's not going to look red. It's going to look purple or brown. So I got to add a lot more red. Oh, this was not a good pour of that blue because I'm doing this one-handed. But you just add a lot more red. I'm just going to go to town with the red because we really got to lighten this stuff up, which means I need a lot more red in it. And that might help. Let's see how we do with that. The food coloring itself has liquid, is liquid, so it does thin it out even further, which is why you do not need to add water. Rookie mistake is adding water to this recipe. Between the soap, oh, here we go, this is better now. See how it's gotten lighter? But I like this deep red, but we could go a little bit lighter so it's not quite so muddy. So we'll add a little bit more red. So I'm going to take this paper towel, I'm going to just dip it in. That's kind of looking great to me, but let's see. Let's fold it over and have it touch. Oop, I just got that on something. So that is looking pretty bloody ready to me. So you have now made your blood effectively. Ooh, we have a big bowl of blood. I took the gloves off because I find this part easier to do with the gloves off, but you will get food coloring on you. Take your chances. I have a hard time tying the knots I need because here's the thing. Now that we've made blood, there has to be a way to get this blood from this bowl into some sort of delivery system that the actor can use on stage. So I make our very own blood packs. Yes, I make them myself. So you want to get the cheapest sandwich bags you can possibly find. I recommend going to your dollar store. The stuff that you think won't actually hold your sandwich for like more than 10 seconds. This is not a Ziploc bag. This is a cheap old sandwich bag. And it's really thin plastic. Get the kind that have really thin, lousy plastic. You do not want the good, strong, extra durable, will keep your sandwich fresh for weeks bags because they will not pop easily on stage. So we're literally going to take this bag. I make a little cubby hole with my hand, or if you want to think of it as Adam's wound, stuffing it, and then I cover my hand, just like that. See that? Take that big old tablespoon we got at the beginning. I stir it up a little bit, mainly because you don't want to get all froth. And then I'm going to pick up a tablespoon. I usually do this low, right over the bowl. But I have to raise this high so you can see it. I have my hole. I put tablespoon in. There's one. Second one is what gets you messy. There's two. I particularly do 2 tablespoons per blood pack because, as you'll see when I hold this up, it fills it pretty well. Voila. Now, you have to tie it. So I like to grab it so that there's some air in the pack. And I come down so I can see that air gather. I think that gives it nice extra oomph on the squirt. You don't want to make them too big though. That one's a little bit too big. You want it to be able to easily fit in the palm of your actor's hand. You want it to be like a nice large strawberry. So that's about a nice big strawberry. Then I just twist it. Twist. And then you make a knot close to the bottom as you can. Just a regular old knot. Nothing special. Make a loop. Pull the tail through. Try and keep the knot as close to the bottom as you can. Now, I will repeat this 12 more times. I need 13 of these per show. Depending on who's Gordon, it will depend on who's actually going to go through them. But I will usually make all of them first, and then, because you don't want this to be in the way of everything, take a good old pair of scissors. I'd say construction scissors, you don't mind getting yucky. And then I cut basically right above the knot. So you see the knot? You're up here, so you see the knot? I cut right about there. I'm gonna have to hold it weirdly because I don't want it to fall into the blood below. But this is what you're going for. See this? Nice big strawberry. See how it fits in my hand? When you pop these, ideally, I like to be directional with them. I think it gives you more oomph of where it's going. But they last great. You can store them in the fridge like I do if you make them ahead of time. And like I said, you want to have, for our show, 13 per show. We give 1 to Adam. This is what Adam uses when he, boom, gets shot in the shoulder. And you want to have 12 of these for Gordon that we supply in a little cup so he can pop them while he is sawing off his foot. This is how we make blood. I hope this was useful. I hope you now have one good blood recipe. Most fight choreographers, fight directors will have their own blood recipes they love. Which sandwich bags to use was really directed by our fight director, Dan Rankin. And because I studied fight choreography for a long time, my basic knowledge of blood recipes actually comes from David Brimmer. So thank you, David. Because of you, I know how to make blood for a show. But the recipe always varies, show to show, place to place. Even like we've developed our blood recipe from Philly last year, and right now this is what works. As we continue to upgrade our special effects and things like that, I'm sure it'll change again. So stay tuned if we have a blood tutorial update. But this is how I make blood for Saw the Musical, the unauthorized parody of Saw. Like I said, we need 13 per show. Thank you for watching our blood tutorial. Hopefully this is helpful. Bye!